According to 1,000 Pound Sisters, fans are not pleased with Amy Slaton's next meet and greet date and details. In the wake of her marriage to Brian, the 1,000 Pound Sisters star will make her public debut during her next meet and greet. Since information is being published online, fans are not eager to find out about the live performance. Her wedding pictures are still the buzz of the town after her Halloween night nuptials. Amy's weight loss journey with Tammy has garnered her a huge following. She hasn't shed as much weight as her older sister, but she did lose a lot last season. Now, her initial weight has been halved. After delivering birth, she went back to her excessive eating obsession. She tended to consume more junk food when she was with Brian, a slim man. On what day is her next meet and greet scheduled? What are the opinions of her fans? Fans are immensely proud of Amy Slaton's Halloween wedding to Brian, since everything about it seemed so amazing. In a picture, Tammy from 1,000 Pounds Sisters was spotted with her sister, who was dressed like a bride. However, she later appeared in a video with the pair, informing TLC that they had good news to share. It appears that Amy requested Tammy's assistance with the venue for her wedding. However, some trustworthy sources claim that the latter did not enter the haunted restaurant. Amy might have also invited Chris, Brittany, Amanda, Misty, and other members of her extended family to her celebration, but they might have turned her down. 1,000 Pound Sisters. They had been against her intention to marry in a haunted house from the beginning. A Reddit thread concerning Amy Slaton's upcoming meet and greet just came to light. The famous Italian restaurant chain Fazoli's published an official banner announcing her arrival. The 1,000 Pound Sisters reality star was probably recruited to open and attract customers to their Pikeville, Kentucky branch. They are not happy that Amy has returned to meet and greet her fans. She will give a public presentation on December 13th from 4 to 7 p.m. Only, the OP emphasized that someone should get information right away because they will be out of town. The idea of another face-to-face encounter excited some people, but not everyone. Some Redditors focused on Amy after circulating stories about Fazoli, claiming that they thought the celebrity gatherings were odd. One response said, "I find these get-togethers really strange. The idea itself is awkward, so they couldn't understand what she would discuss with strangers. I can't imagine there is a huge lineup." One critic joked that Amy would talk about how much she loves sodies. Someone other inquired about the cost of her attendance as a guest. Since Brian accompanied his wife to her first meet and greet, someone else accused him of forcing her to pursue money. 1,000 Pounds Sisters. As she signed her photographs, he charged from her fans. Keep checking TV season spoilers for the most recent information on Amy's meet and greet. But Amy's small blue cottage was alive with excitement on this sunny Saturday morning in Dixon, Kentucky. Paper plates were strewn over the kitchen table, balloons were half inflated, and Tammy was reclining in her chair with a fan in one hand and a cupcake in the other. "That's for the party, Tammy!" With her fists full of streamers, Amy yelled. Tammy gave an eye roll. "It's only one cupcake, girl. Gage won't miss it, even though he doesn't yet have teeth." Amy was determined to make this the best day for Gage's first birthday. She had been planning the theme Baby Dino Adventure for weeks. A cooked cake in the shape of a T-Rex, which unfortunately looked more like a lumpy alligator, was also present, along with blue and green balloons and tiny dinosaur caps for the kids. Outside, Michael struggled with an unstable, bouncy castle shaped like a dinosaur. Every time he tried to secure it, the thing would hiss and drop to the ground like a dying balloon. Michael wiped at his sweat. "My dear," Amy shouted from outside the window. "Have you set it up yet?" he said. Tammy frowned at him as she overheard. "Very nearly. Tammy is fighting for the last donut, but this thing is fighting me harder. It will be promptly fixed if you say 1,000 Pound Sisters. I'll sit on your bouncy castle if you keep talking." Amy was running like a tornado inside. The TLC camera crew had come early, filming every scene for a new episode. The producers were thrilled, since a baby's first birthday with the Slaton family was sure to be filled with fun, drama, and at least one cake-related incident. The guests began to arrive, Amanda with her wry one-liners, Misty with a giant stuffed dinosaur that could almost fit through the door, and Chris with his plate already in hand. "This is really cute, Amy," Misty cried out. "You truly went above and beyond." Amy smiled with pride. "Hold on until you see the cake." Tammy grinned, "if there is any remaining icing." As anticipated, the celebration began with pandemonium and laughing. Gage sat wide-eyed in his high chair, observing the chaos in his small dinosaur onesie. Even if he didn't understand much, he could tell that everyone was content, and that was sufficient. The cake smash, which everyone had been anticipating, finally arrived. With a broad smile and glowing candles, Amy pulled out the T-Rex cake. Everyone sang a heartfelt, if slightly off-key rendition of Happy Birthday. Gage slapped both hands directly into the cake after blinking at the flames and drooling a little. "Go, Gage!" Everyone cheered. Tammy laughed so hard that she nearly dropped her Coke. The child had more icing on them than on the cake. 1,000 pounds. Sisters. The celebration quickly devolved into a frosting fight. Chris responded after Amanda wiped icing on his face, and Michael attempted to clean Gage up while Amy screamed, "Not on the carpet!" The camera crew was having a hard time remaining motionless because they were laughing so much. When the chaos died down, everyone gathered in the living room. Tammy, suddenly moved, handed Gage a warm blue blanket. Amy's eyes welled up with tears as she muttered, "This was mine when I was little." "You have it now, sweetie." Tammy shrugged. "Tam, that's so adorable. Do not become used to it. I'm still craving cake." As the sun began to set, the family sat on the porch and watched Gage smile and clap his frosting-covered hands. For a time, there seemed to be no tension, no cameras, no diets, just love and laughter. Amy laid her head on Michael's shoulder. "Didn't we perform well?" Michael grinned. "Yes, darling. Very good." Tammy smiled as she took a sip of her soda. "And let's have cookout next year. More ribs and less icing." The sound of laughter reverberated throughout the Kentucky night as everyone laughed. As though in agreement with his Aunt Tammy, Gage cooed joyfully. Although it wasn't the ideal party, it was exactly who they were. But the sun broke through the drapes of Tammy Slaton's comfortable Dixon home on a cool Kentucky morning. There was a subtle scent of coffee and vanilla candles in the kitchen. The TV wasn't blasting in the background for once. Today was different. Tammy was going to attempt making her own food, something she hadn't done in years. When Tammy heard the gentle knock on the door, she was in her wheelchair near the kitchen island browsing through her phone. 1,000 pounds, sisters, enter now, she shouted. Through the open door came Nurse Lila, a cheerful, upbeat woman in her early 30s, wearing a sunshine yellow scrub top and short curly hair. She had a tote bag filled with fresh food and culinary supplies. Lila chirped, "Good morning, Tammy. Are you ready to cook?" "Girl, I haven't cooked in a long time." Tammy grinned. "I hope you understand what you're doing." Lila laughed. "That's my purpose here. We're preparing a light stir-fried chicken dish with brown rice and vegetables that is both nutritious and delectable." Tammy arched an eyebrow. "Delicious and nutritious? We'll look into that." Lila set out the ingredients on the counter. Chicken breast, bell peppers, broccoli, garlic, soy sauce, and a little container of sesame oil. Tammy looked at the colorful spread with a mix of enthusiasm and doubt. Tammy admitted, "I used to fry everything. You name it. Oil, butter, bacon grease, etc., while she watched Lila carve the chicken. But the doctors tell me to cut back." "You're doing fantastic, Tammy," Lila said comfortingly. "Today's goal is balance, not punishment. We'll make something that's good for your health and tasty." Lila handed Tammy a chopping board and a butter knife. "The bell peppers can be chopped. Simply move slowly." Tammy inhaled deeply before beginning to cut, her hands quivering a little. Although it wasn't flawless, some parts were large, some small. She was making progress. "Watch you go," Lila cheered. Tammy laughed and said, "You're a natural." "If I'm a natural, why do these peppers look like a crime scene?" The tension disappeared as they both burst out laughing. For the first time in a long time, Tammy felt proud of herself in the kitchen. As they cooked, the air was filled with the sound of sizzling chicken. The pan captivated Tammy's attention. "You know," she said quietly, "I didn't believe I'd ever be able to do this again before my operation. I assumed that all I would do in life was lie in bed and watch other people live." Lila gently stirred the pan. "But 1,000 pounds, sisters, Tammy, you persisted. This is what you fought for. Every action you take and every meal you prepare contributes to your recovery." With sparkling eyes, Tammy nodded. "I still don't always think it's me. For example, I see this woman who is trying when I look in the mirror. That is novel." Lila grinned broadly. "That is progress. It's beautiful, too." The room fell silent except for the soft crackle of vegetables in the pan. Outside, the birds were chirping. Tammy was relaxed for the first time in a long time. When the food was ready, Lila served it beautifully with colorful veggies, juicy chicken, and fluffy brown rice. When Tammy tasted it for the first time, her eyes grew wide. "Oh my," she said. "This is fantastic." "I told you," Lila laughed as she spoke. Amy chewed slowly and nodded. "You know what? Maybe I'll get used to this. Next week, we might be able to produce something sophisticated." Lila grinned, as in cauliflower pizza or something. "You got it, Tammy the chef." The moniker made Tammy smile with pride. She felt in charge of her life, not just her body, for the first time in years. If life had a camera, it would have zoomed out to reveal two women smiling in a bright kitchen, demonstrating that change need not be frightening. It could be flavorful, humorous, and warm. Tammy sipped iced tea and watched the sunset from her porch after Lila had departed. From hospital beds to home-cooked dinners, she reflected on her progress. "I performed well today," she muttered to herself. Amy's text message rang on her phone. "Amy, I heard you prepared food today." "Look at you, Gordon Ramsay Jr." "Tammy, you'd better exercise caution, sis. I'm taking over the cooking for the next family supper." 1,000 pounds. Sisters Tammy laughed out loud, her heart light. For the first time in a long time, she was living, not simply surviving. Tomorrow, she will cook again. However, just as the sun was starting to rise over Dixon, Kentucky, Tammy Slaton woke up to the sound of her phone vibrating on the nightstand. Her social media was ablaze with rumors, condolence messages, and a few offensive comments since last night from people who never missed an occasion to attack her. She rolled over in bed with a heavy sigh, the memories of her last argument with Philip replaying in her mind like a horrible movie. Tammy had known Philip, the man she had thought would be her lifelong companion, for 2 years. He was charming and funny, and he claimed to love her for who she was. After they met online, he appeared to temporarily calm her turbulent environment. But with time, that light was replaced by worry, jealousy, and arguments over trivial issues. Amy, her sister, could see that something was wrong. Bringing a bag of groceries and her typical big sister enthusiasm, she arrived with her baby, Gage. "What's up, girl?" Amy asked as she put the things down. "I noticed your post last night. Are Philip and you really done?" With a pause, Tammy's voice cracked slightly. "Yes, we're finished. Amy, I can no longer handle it." "He doesn't understand. He claims to love me, yet he talks down to me, telling me that I'm too emotional and that I'm not trying hard enough." Amy squeezed her sister's hand as she sat next to her. "Sis, you don't require that type of affection. You've had enough. What you need is peace, not pressure." Tammy nodded slowly, her eyes blurry. "I just thought he was special. I honestly thought I had found someone who was able to look past the TV, the comments, and the people who were making fun of me. 1,000 pounds, sisters." Amy smiled quietly. In the weeks that followed, Tammy tried to focus on her healing. You have to love yourself first, and sometimes the person who should love you the most ends up teaching you the hardest lesson. She deleted Philip's pictures from her phone, stopped checking his social media profiles, and started attending therapy more often. Tammy wanted to show her audience her growth rather than turmoil, even if the 1,000 LB Sisters cameras were still capturing her highs and lows. Every now and again, she wanted to text Philip to check if he was missing her. But every time she grabbed her phone, she thought of how he had made her feel dependent, small, and unimportant. It wasn't affection, that was control. Amy witnessed her sisters change. Tammy was taking short walks again, laughing more, and even helping to prepare meals. "Look at you, sis," Amy said one afternoon. "You're more radiant than my ring light." Tammy laughed and swatted at her. "Stop talking, girl. I just want to live my life as best I can." Then came the moment that took everyone, even Tammy, by surprise. At one point in the show's interview, the producer asked her if she regretted the breakup. Tammy looked straight into the camera, her eyes steady. "No," she answered. "I have no regrets about it. Because I'm not looking for someone to save me for the first time. I'm saving myself." It was forceful, honest, and unvarnished. Social media was inundated with supportive messages from fans. Trending hashtags included #TammyStrong and #SelfLoveJourney. When the program aired weeks later, Amy even started crying. Tammy and Amy were enjoying iced tea on the porch one evening while the sun was setting over the peaceful fields of Kentucky. "Do you ever anticipate dating again?" Amy inquired. 1,000 pounds? Sisters, Tammy grinned thoughtfully. Perhaps one day. I'm still learning how to love myself, though. That's enough. Amy nodded. The two sisters laughed as they watched fireflies dance in the twilight. I prefer to hear that. They had been through a lot together. Heartbreak, health problems, and public scrutiny. But in the end, they had each other. Furthermore, that bond was stronger than any distance. However, Monday morning was bright in Dixon, Kentucky. Amy Slaton Halterman stood in front of the mirror, resolutely adjusting her headband while the birds were tweeting and the air was clear. Her two tiny boys, Glenn and Gage, were playing with toy cars in the living room, making vroom vroom noises like they were competing in the Indianapolis 500. She inhaled deeply and whispered to herself, "Okay, girl, this is the day. This time, don't back down," she said. Amy smiled. They were her motivation and inspiration. After years of varying her weight, she had decided to make a change. This time, she wasn't doing it for the show, for attention, or even for online backlash. For herself and her kids, she took this action. As a result, she had taken a Mommy Me exercise class at the local community center, something she never would have thought to do. As Amy pulled into the parking lot, her nerves pricked. She hadn't taken a fitness class in, well, forever. She repositioned her leggings, picked up her water bottle, and said, "Lord, please keep me from tripping in front of these mothers." The room was bustling with bustle, with mothers talking, babies cooing, and exciting music playing. 1,000 pounds, sisters' yoga mats filled the floor, and vibrant posters with the slogan, "Strong Moms, Strong Kids." "Hello," the instructor, Jordan, a tall woman with a warm smile, said, "You must be Amy." "We're so glad you came." Amy reddened. "Yes, it is who I am. I'm taking this class for the first time, so don't laugh if I seem like a penguin attempting ballet." Jordan gave a nice laugh. "You'll succeed. We're all here to support one another." The lesson began with some gentle stretches following a little jogging. Amy tried to keep up, but after 10 minutes she was sweating heavily. Her face flushed, her arms wavered, and she once unintentionally misplaced her resistance band. "I'm struggling, girl." Amy spoke those words, partly gasping, half laughing. The other mothers grinned and urged her to continue. After they entered a section where they were to lift their infants like weights, Amy lifted Glenn up and jokingly remarked, "You, baby, are my little dumbbell." When Glenn laughed, Amy temporarily lost all self-doubt. She was simply enjoying herself with her child as a mother. Amy continued to appear over the course of the following weeks. She would gather her mat, load the diaper bag, and go to class every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It wasn't simple. She was sore on certain days. She wanted to miss several days. However, each time she considered giving up, she recalled what Jordan had stated: perfection, not consistency. Amy noted little changes by week 4, including an increase in energy, a better mood, and a slightly looser fit in her clothes. She began preparing healthier meals for the boys and herself. Her sister Tammy even started making fun of her, stating, "Look at you, girl. You'll be showing me off shortly." 1,000-pound sisters. "You had better be careful, Tam, Amy said with a laugh. "I might drag you to class the next time." At a tiny mommy fitness showcase hosted by the community center, all of the mothers showcased their accomplishments. Amy was anxious about performing in front of others, so she nearly skipped the event. However, when Gage gave her a sketch of her lifting weights in crayon and remarked, "Mommy strong," Amy knew she couldn't give up. She stood straight during the performance, her boys cheering from the sidelines, and she danced with confidence as the music played. Not with perfect form or rhythm, but with heart. The audience cheered at the end, and Amy wiped away her tears, feeling like a pro for the first time in years. Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to my channel. My name is Mina, and I hope you're having a great day. If you liked the video, please remember to subscribe to the channel.